Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's story is not just a love story, it's a story of choices of truth and the kind of silence that speaks louder than words. So find a quiet corner, grab a drink, and let me take you on a journey that might just stay with you longer than you expect. My name is Mira. I never believed in fate, at least not until that train ride to Verona. It was a last-minute decision. I had just ended a long, exhausting relationship, and all I wanted was to disappear for a few days. Somewhere quiet. Somewhere without reminders. Verona sounded poetic enough, and I needed poetry more than logic. The train was half empty when I boarded. I found my seat by the window and plugged in my headphones, hoping for silence inside and out. And then he sat across from me. He looked like someone who belonged in another era, calm, elegant, with a kind of quiet confidence. He smiled, I gave a polite nod, that was all. But a few minutes later, he leaned forward and said, "Do you mind if I sit here? My original seat has no view." Something about his voice made me say, "Sure, I didn't even think about it." He introduced himself. "My name is Lucian." I hesitated, then replied, "Mira." We talked. At first it was small talk. Books, cities, the usual. But then something shifted. We spoke about solitude, about starting over, about how some places feel like fresh air after years of suffocation. I forgot about time. I forgot about my pain. At the Verona station, we said goodbye. No numbers, no promises, just a smile, but I couldn't stop thinking about him. The next morning, I went to a quiet cafe near Piazza delle Erbe, and there he was. He looked up, surprised or pretending to be Mira. He said like we were old friends, Chtini. I smiled, or just a small town. We laughed. He asked to join me and I didn't say no. We talked again, more personal this time. He told me he traveled a lot for work, that he felt like a guest in his own life. I told him about my breakup, my exhaustion, my need for air. He listened, really listened. Later that evening, we walked by the river. He said, "It's strange, I've only just met you, but it feels like I've known you longer than some people in my life." I didn't answer. My heart was cautious, but I felt it too. Over the next few days, we saw each other often. We had coffee, we walked, we laughed. He told me stories that made me forget my sadness, and he never once touched me. But his presence felt more intimate than any touch I had known. One night, as the sky turned violet, he said, "I need to tell you something." I waited. I'm married. I froze. "But it's not what you think." He continued, "We haven't lived as a couple for years. We live in the same house for our son. He's 8, she and I, we barely speak." A familiar ache bloomed in my chest. I had heard this before from someone else some other time, but Lucian's voice was different, softer, broken. Still, I asked, "Then why didn't you tell me earlier?" He looked away. "Because with you I felt like someone new and I was scared you'd walk away." I didn't know what to say. The next day I avoided him. I walked through gardens alone, trying to feel peace, but all I felt was confusion. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to believe I wasn't just another escape. That night, he left a note at my hotel. "Mira, please meet me one last time. I owe you honesty." I went. We met at a small bookshop cafe. He looked different. Pale, quiet. "My wife knows," he said. "She saw the messages. She's angry. She wants space, maybe divorce." I asked, "And what do you want?" He said, "I want a life where I don't have to hide how I feel. With you, I felt that life was possible." I asked again, "Do you want freedom or love?" He was silent. Then he said, "Maybe I don't know the difference." That answer broke something inside me. I stood up. "Then maybe I do." I walked out. I didn't look back. The next morning, I checked out. The receptionist handed me a letter. "Mira, you were not an escape. You were the truth I was too afraid to face." I folded the note, tucked it away, and left. On the train back, I sat by the window again. This time alone, I closed my eyes and thought of Lucian. Not with bitterness, not with longing, just with a strange kind of peace. Because now I know some people enter your life like wind. You can't hold them, you can't keep them, but they change the shape of you. Lucian didn't give me love, but he gave me something else: clarity. Now I choose differently. I choose honesty over chemistry. I choose solitude over lies. I choose myself. And if love ever comes again, it will not ask me to hide. It will not arrive with secrets. It will not begin in someone else's shadow. Because real love is not built on borrowed time. And I will wait for the kind that stays. If this story touched something in, you don't forget to like, comment, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you've ever had a moment like this where one decision changed everything, I'd love to hear your story in the comments below. Until next time, stay honest, stay brave, and keep choosing love that feels like peace.